Guys, today we're going to do a short video on divisibility tests, and that is just how can you tell by looking at a number if other numbers can divide it. And what you'll need for this is hold up. You will need this sheet, this half sheet, and you'll need to have it glued into your composition book to do the WSQ because everything is on here. I've actually already done the summary for you, so you'll have to just do the work, and any questions you have you can write at the bottom of the page. So what we're going to do for this is you are going to need to write a 4-digit number for each of these. So what that means is when you go to write your examples, they're going to have 4 digits, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1,234 because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 digits in it. So each example you're going to write is going to have 4 digits, and each non-example you write is going to have 4 digits. So let's look at the tests. The test for 2. So a number is divisible by 2. 2 can evenly divide a number if those numbers are even, which means they're going to end in a even number. So such as 36, 100, 54, 5,008. Let me turn that off. All of these are divisible by 2. So all you need to do is look at the ones column and notice that 0 is also an even number. Now here's some non-examples. Those ones end in an odd number. So now it's your turn. Pause the video, give one 4-digit example and one 4-digit non-example that's not on this screen. So you cannot use this one because it's got 4 digits, and you can't use these ones. Whoop. Okay, let's talk about the test for 3. A number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. So let's look at what that means. So here are some numbers that are divisible by 3. You'll notice that you can add up the digits. So for 45, you add 4 and 5, you get 9. 3 can go into 9. For 132, you add 1 plus 3 plus 2, you get 6. 3 can go into 6 evenly. 2 plus 0 plus 8 plus 2 is 12, and 3 can go into 12, and so on. So let's look at some numbers that are not divisible by 3. Oops, sorry. Okay, so these numbers, you'll notice 88 is not divisible by 3 because 8 plus 8 is 16, and 3 can't go into 16. 356 is not divisible by 3 because 3 plus 5 plus 6 is 14, and 3 can't evenly go into 14. So pause, examine these examples and non-examples, and then write your own 4-digit example and non-example that is not already on the screen. Okay, let's talk about the test for 4. A number is divisible by 4 if you check the numbers formed by the last 2 digits of the number. So if that is divisible by 4, then the whole number is divisible by 4. So let's look at what that means. These numbers here are divisible by 4 because if I look at the last 2 digits, 4 can go into 24, 4 can evenly go into 16. It doesn't matter what comes before it. Now here, 0, 8. That's just 8, and we know 4 can go into 8. And 56. Now, another thing, all numbers that end in 0, 0 are also divisible by 4. So that's something to point out, or maybe write down in your notes that all numbers that end in 0, 0 are divisible by 4. Now, let's look at some numbers that are not. You can see 15, the last 2 digits. 4 cannot evenly go into 15, so 515 is not divisible by 4. Now pause the video, give a 4-digit example and 4-digit non-example that is divisible and not divisible by 4. Okay, let's talk about the test for 5. It's one of the easiest ones. All you have to do is look at the last number and ask yourself, does the number end in a 5 or a 0? If so, it is divisible by 5. So let's look at some numbers that are divisible by 5. 85, 375, 3,490. They end in 5 or 0. Doesn't matter what comes before them. Just the last number matters for this. Now, if it's not divisible by 5, it ends in anything other than 5 or 0. So let's look at some examples here. Now pause the video, give a 4-digit example and a 4-digit non-example of a number that is divisible and not divisible by 5. Okay, let's talk about the test for 6. A number is divisible by 6 if the number is divisible by both 2 and 3, not one or the other. If I am doing the tests and I see a number is divisible by 2, then I check and say, well, is it divisible by 3? And if so, if it's both, then it's divisible by 6. So let's look at what we've got. 84 ends in an even number, so it's divisible by 2. 8 plus 4 is 12. So 3 can go into 12. And so since 84 is divisible by 2 and 3, they're also divisible by 6. Notice all of the numbers on this list are even. So if you add all the digits in each number and you get a multiple of 3 and it's even, then you know it's divisible by 6. So look here, even this big long number, 2,000,004, it ends in an even number, so it's divisible by 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. 3 can go into 6. So since it works for 2 and it works for 6, it's divisible, or sorry, if it works for 2 and it works for 3, it's divisible by 6. Now here are some non-examples. So look and be careful. 33, 3 plus 3 is 6, so it's divisible by 3. Because it's an odd number, it's not divisible by 6. Now here we've got 15,004. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Now 3 can't go into 10 evenly. So even though we have an even number, divisible by 2, it's not divisible by 3, so it wouldn't work for 6. Pause the video, give yourself a 4-digit example and non-example of numbers that are divisible by 6. Okay, let's do the test for 5. 9. The divisibility rule for 9 is very similar to the divisibility rule for 3. I would add up all the digits, and if the sum is divisible by 9, then the original number is also divisible by 9. So let's look at some examples. 45. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 goes into 9. 135. 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9. 9 can go into 9. 2088. 2 plus 0 plus 8 plus 8 is 18, and 9 can evenly go into 18 2 times. Therefore, it's divisible by 9. Or 46,647. 4 plus 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 7 is 27. 9 can go into 27, so the number is divisible by 9. Now, at any point, you can pause the video and examine these examples further if you need to. So let's look at some that are not divisible by 9. Here we've got 88. 8 plus 8 is 16. 9 cannot evenly divide 16. It can't evenly divide 14, and it can't evenly divide 11. Therefore, these numbers are not divisible by 9. Pause the video, give yourself an example and a non-example for 9. They need to be 4 digits. Okay, last one, test for 10. Super easy, easiest one in the whole group. Does the number end in 0? If so, it's divisible by 10. Let's look at some examples. They all end in 0. They're all divisible by 10. Now, numbers that are not divisible by 10 are numbers that end in any number other, or any digit other than 0. So, pause the video, give yourself a 4-digit example and a 4-digit non-example. We are done with this video. You can go back and watch any part as many times as you need to, or watch the whole thing, but don't forget WSQ in your notebook.